The Drop of Water by Hans Christian Andersen. I suppose you know what a magnifying glass is. A sort of round eyeglass that makes everything 100 times bigger than it is. If you take it and hold it in front of you and look at a drop of water out of a pond, you can see any number of strange-looking creatures that you would otherwise never see in the water. Yet, sure enough, there they are. It looks rather like a plateful of shrimps hopping about among each other, and they are so ferocious that they tear off each other's arms and legs, buttocks and thighs, though, in spite of that, they are quite pleased and cheerful in their own way. Now there was once an old man whom everybody called Creepy Crawly, because that was his name. He always would have the best of everything, and if other means failed, then he got what he wanted by magic. Well, one day he sat holding his magnifying glass in front of him and looking at a drop of water that came from a puddle in the ditch. Goodness, what a lot of creeping and crawling there was! Hundreds of little creatures were all hopping around and tugging at each other and eating each other. Really, it's quite repulsive, said old Creepy Crawly. Can't they be made to live in peace and quiet and to mind their own business? And he puzzled and puzzled, but it all came to nothing, and so he was forced to use magic. I must colour them to make them stand out more clearly, he said, and he poured the merest drop of red wine into the drop of water. But it was witch's blood, the very finest kind, at 2p a drop. Then all those weird little creatures turned pink all over. They might have been a whole town full of naked savages. "What have you got there?" asked another old magician who hadn't got a name, and that was just what made him so distinguished. "Well, if you can guess what it is," said Creepy Crawly, "I'll make you a present of it. But it isn't easy to find out if you don't know." And the magician who hadn't got a name took a peep through the magnifying glass. It looked exactly like a whole town where everybody was running about without anything on. It was horrible, but still more horrible was the sight of people pushing and elbowing each other, wrestling and wrangling, snapping and snarling. Those at the bottom should be on top, and those at the top should be down at the bottom. "Look there, his leg is longer than mine. Pooh! Away with it. And here's a chap with a little pimple behind his ear. A harmless little pimple, but it hurts him, and it shall hurt him still more." And they slashed at it and pulled him about, and then they ate him for the sake of the little pimple. Another was sitting there as still as any maiden might, wanting nothing but peace and quiet. But the maiden had to come forward and be pulled and tugged, till finally they ate her right up. "That's extremely funny," said the magician. "Yes, but what do you make of it all?" asked Creepy Crawly. "Have you any idea what it is?" "It's plain enough," said the other. "It must be Copenhagen or some other big city, for they're all alike. A big city, anyway." "It's ditch water," said Creepy Crawly.